All right, shalom, shalom. It's your brother Kazak Magun. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. That's Yahweh, who the word inwardly calls God. In the name of the Son, Yahushua, who the word inwardly calls Jesus Christ. All right. I'm gonna do this little quick lesson on the current events, man. You know, you got to be watching about these current events. They always gonna be happening. You know, that's how you really know what's going on and what times we in. You know, the signs of the times, these prophecies, they happening just like that, back to back, back to back. So you got to always be circumspect. You got to always be watching, right? Salakia. Let me pull this quick precept real quick. Bear with me real quick. Second entrance. Right. Let me share my screen. Right. This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 9. Right. This is the book of Second Esdras, the 9th chapter, starting from the top. Right. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right. So this is the Lord through the I believe the angel Uriel telling Esdras, right, to measure the time diligently. Remember, meaning what? Watch the prophecies, right? Watch these things that I told you that are going to happen in the earth. And when you see these things happening, you're going to know what time of the world we are in, what time of the ages we are in. And if you ain't know, you're living in the last days, right? You're living in the last days. Think about it as a game, as a football game or whatever, or as a basketball game, right? Right now, we living in the fourth quarter. It's the fourth quarter. It's about a few seconds left, right? So that's the time that we in right now, So that's how much time you got to get right, with the Most High before, he sends his destruction and his judgment upon the earth, right? But I'm gonna read that again. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest, meaning the Most High God, Yahweh, will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, verse 3, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things, right? Spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, Salakia. Right? From the days before you, even from the beginning, man. Right? Salakia, let's keep going on that. It says, where was that? Verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Right? So the Lord told us that these things were going to be coming. Right? He told us the signs of the things that were going to be coming, man. All right, let me go to let's go to the book of Matthew. Right? You're living in the times of Matthew 24. You're living in the times of Luke 21. You're living in the times of 2nd Esdras 15, 2nd Esdras 16, 2nd Esdras the 9th chapter. You're living in 2nd Esdras the 8th chapter, right? The 5th chapter, the 6th chapter. You're living in these times right now, man. Right? If you don't believe it or not, you're living in these times right now. Right? All of those chapters are heavy prophecy of the last days, man. Right? This is Matthew 24. And I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? right? And let's not talk about the end like the planet is gonna blow up. Let's talk about the end of this age, the end of this society, right? Let's talk about the end of the reign of the so-called white man, because right now he's the one in power. He's the one ruling the world, right? It says Esau, who is the so-called white man, the biblical nationality of the so-called white man, right, is the end of the world, meaning, and Jacob, meaning us, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel, we are Jacob, right? It said Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning that followeth, right? So we are the ones that are next up to rule. You know how when you playing basketball, you meeting up with your homies at the gym and you say, we got next on the court after this game, we got next on the court, and we playing king of the court and we never getting off the court, right? It says Jacob is the beginning that followeth, man, right? And we're going to be in everlasting rulership. This is what we're waiting on. We're waiting on the so-called white man society to end, right? We tired of paying taxes. We tired of paying all these bills, right? We tired of paying rent. We tired of having to wake up and go clock in and smile in the white man face all day, and even though he's talking to us any kind of way, and we know that we can't say nothing back, can't really do nothing because we really need this job, because we got to support our families. We got to be able to buy them diapers for the kids. We got to be able to, pay the phone bills, pay the car note, all these other things that we subject to, man. Right? We tired of being killed out on the streets by these white cops. We tired of getting locked up and the book being thrown at us, with unfair justice. We tired of our people not getting justice in the courthouses and in these courtrooms. We tired of them putting drugs in our neighborhood. We tired of all these things. So we waiting on the end of this society, man. Right? And if you're content with living in this society, you need to check yourself. You need to check your spirit, because you shouldn't be content with the way our people are. Yeah, you may have a few dollars in your pocket. You might have a nice car or whatever, have you a place to stay. But look at the overall estate of our people as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Are we good in this society or are we bad? We at the bottom, right? And this next kingdom is to come, is going to be our kingdom. We're going to be at the top. So we are patiently waiting and patiently praying on the downfall of this society, man, on the downfall of America, which is Babylon the Great, man, right? But Matthew 24:3, it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Right? So the disciples, they was thirsty to know, when is going to be the end of the world, end of this society? When is you coming back to put us back on top, man? They was thirsty to know that, and you should be thirsty to know that. Verse 4, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And you do got a lot of people doing that right now, right? So we can check that off. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right? So it said we shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right? It's heavy over there in the Middle East right now. Right? In the Middle East, you got the Houthis, right? They fighting against Israel, right? You got the Muslims fighting against the so-called Jewish man, right? They're all fighting, right? Over there in the Middle East. And the Lord said, that's when you read about it in the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, that's the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? The valley of Yahweh's decision, Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew, right? That's where the Lord is going to make his ultimate judgment, right? To put us back in rulership, man. He's going to destroy those. He's going to destroy them all in at the peak of World War III, right? They're going to all be destroyed, and Israel is going to be on top to reign forevermore. We're going to take all the other nations in slaves, right? And that might sound hard for you to believe if you're just now hearing about this. But we got biblical evidence and biblical proof to back this up, what I'm saying, all right? But I'm going to read that again. It says, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. We're seeing all that right now. You got Russia fighting against Ukraine right now. In America, they keep, antagonizing Russia, steady throwing aid to Ukraine, right? And America is also antagonizing Iran and all of these other countries, right? All these other all these other Muslim Arabic countries, right? America is steady, sending aid to their ops, basically, right? And if you helping my ops, you are op to me, You know, that's how we talking. That's how it is in the streets. You know, hey, if you siding with, if you clicking up with the ops, you my op too. I gotta treat you like an op too. So America is steady clicking up with all these people ops. So America got hella ops, right? That's why America is gonna be destroyed, man. All these countries, they're gonna be against America because y'all steady putting y'all hands into things that don't got nothing to do with y'all, right? But back to the verse though. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Right? Verse 7. "For nation shall rise against nation." Right? And we're seeing that right now with the wars. It says, "and kingdom against kingdom," but it's going to ultimately come down to World War III, right? When it's going to be full-fledged warfare, and not just regular warfare, but nuclear warfare, right? And there shall be famines, right, and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, right? And I chiefly want to touch on this part right here, famines, right? Famines, right? Because what's going on right now, you know, a hot topic right now, which just came out, right? In the eastern coast, right, on the eastern coast of America, Babylon the Great, right? The workers that work on the ports, they're going on strike, right? And the eastern ports, you know, they are the biggest trade units, you know, of America, right? So they going on strike. They went on strike, I believe, at midnight on Monday. And we gonna hop into this article, man. Right? I got this article from CNBC, right? It's titled Salakia. And you see these containers right here. All these containers are coming in from foreign countries, right? They come in on cargo ships, right? And then they get put on top of trains, put on top of semi trucks, and they go get transported to these stores, man, to these warehouses and to these stores to fill the shelves, to fill the racks up in the warehouses, and then out of the warehouse they go to the stores on the store shelves, so you can go to the store and buy it. All types of supplies. You got food, right? You got your common goods like soap, tissue, hand sanitizer, you know, all your common goods, water, all of these things, right? Vaseline, lotion, your common things, common household items. You know, all of these things are coming in from off the ports, are all goods, right? And right now it's going to be backed up because the workers are on strike. So prices might rise for these things, and people might go and, just like how they did during the coronavirus, they might go and start buying up all the tissue, all the hand sanitizer, you know, because these things are coming in less and less, which is going to make them more valuable to people. It's going to raise the demand, right? Because supply is low, the demand is going to be high, right? That's the law of supply and demand, right? So, and with that demand raising up, the price is going to raise up as well, which is inflation, right? I saw something earlier. It said you might be paying $40 for a pack of tissue, which is crazy, you know. But these are the times that we living in right now, right? This is right. This, once again, this is CNBC, right? The title of the article, written by Lori Ann LaRocco, right? It says, "East Coast port strike, ILA union rejects wage hike offer near 50% as shutdown at midnight nears," right? And this was written, it says it was updated an hour ago, right? It was updated an hour ago, right? So let's jump down into the article. Right, it says a last-ditch effort by ports ownership to get the ILA union back to the bargaining table with the wage hike offer of nearly 50% over 6 years was rejected by the union on Monday, right, with the strike at ports up and down the East Coast and along the Gulf Coast set to begin after midnight. Logistics executives told CNBC every remaining hour on Monday was critical in moving out as much trade as possible before a shutdown that would do serious damage to the functioning of the U.S. economy, right? Because once they go on strike, there's no more Salakia goods coming in being transported out. Everything is going to be set right there on hold, right? And you got refrigerated goods getting set. They probably go spoil these. Ain't no telling how long this strike gonna last, because the union, they have to come to an agreement with the workers, because the workers, they fed up with the wages that they've been getting. They feel like they deserve way more, right? And so what? They willing to stop working. They willing to stop working and they said, but just by them stopping working, that it's able to uh really damage the US economy, man. It's going to cause major damage to the US economy. It says, I'm going back to the article, based on data from Import Genius, which tracks the bills of lading, the digital receipts of cargo containers, a total of 54,456 20-foot equivalent units, right, arrived on Friday at the 14 ports operating under the master contract between the International Longshoremen's Association, right, the ILA, and the U.S. Maritime Alliance, which expires at midnight Monday. The approximate value of that weight was up to $2.7 billion, right? So with these 14 ports, on one day, they brought in a total of 54,456, trailers, basically, cargo trailers, right? And they said all of that is worth $2.7 billion. So they're bringing in $2.7 billion a day on these trade ports, man. Right? It says, based on an MDS transmodal estimate, right, of 50% per container for the weekdays between September 23rd through 27th, a total of 273,417 TEUs were imputed through customs at these ports, with a value of approximately 13.67 billion. Right? So in a matter of 4 days, it's over a quarter million of these TEUs being brought in, right? And the worth of them is about 13.5 billion, a little over 13.5 billion, man. Right? And this is a lot of money that the so-called white man and these trade people are bringing in, man. So you try to think like, okay, if they getting all this money, how is it so hard for them to, give us anything out of that, man? Right? Why is the country, looking like how it's looking? Why is the homeless population, so vast and so large, man? Why are black people still sleeping out on the streets? Why don't we have more shelters? If people out there are making this much money on trade and bringing all these things in, why do we still have people starving? What's going on? But that's all greed of the so-called white man, right? Let me grab this quick precept. All right, let me grab this quick precept, man. Let's go to Obadiah. Right, the grape gatherers. Right, this Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? So grape gatherers, it's even in our law that God gave us, right? That we're not even allowed to pick or glean or harvest our full field. We got to leave the corners, for those that are less fortunate, right? So that they could come in, so they could eat something, if they need to, right? Because they can't afford food for themselves, right? But the so-called white man, he's not leaving nothing behind, right? He wants every penny. He wants every dollar that he can make, every cent that he could gather off of his merchandise. He's not letting none of it go by for free. He's not trying to feed the homeless. He's not trying to do none of that. He's greedy, man. He a greedy bastard, and he doesn't care about nobody but himself, man. Right? It says, if the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not have leave some grapes? Right? So they wouldn't leave. It's crazy dealing with the so-called white man. But let's go back to the article, man. Right? It's like, no, I gotta grab another precept, right? This is let's go to the book of Job. Job chapter 20, I think that's what I want. 20 and 18. That which he labored for. There you go. right? This is Job 20 and 18. It says that which he labored for. So all that the so-called white man had worked for, everything that he built up, this whole society, all of his greed, all his riches, all his diamonds and rubies, all his Tom Ford suits and all his Michael Kors shoes and the red bottoms and the Pradas and all that, everything that he worked for, right? It says, shall he restore everything that he stole, even this country, right? I mean, this country is never going to be inhabitable again, but we're going to get our revenge for him taking this country away from our people, man, away from the Latinos and away from the Native Americans, right? Away from the indigenous peoples, right? We're going to get our get back for that. He's going to restore that, right? All the riches that he took, they still have our riches that they took. When you look at the thing called the Archetitus that they have in, I believe it's in Rome, Italy, right? You have the Archetitus, and it shows how they, ransacked the temple, right, back in Jerusalem, how Titus Vespasian, right, how they ransacked our temple, during 70 AD when the Roman Jewish wars, right? They ransacked our temple and they were carrying all the gold, tall 7-foot golden menorahs that we had, that Solomon built, man, that Solomon had built, right, in his time of rulership, right? They stole all of that from us, man. They stole all our victuals, all our riches, all our diamonds and our rubies, right, all of our gold. They took all of that out of our temple and they commemorated. They made a mural for that, man. It's called the Archetitus, right? So they still got our gold. Everything that they stole from us, they got to restore it. It says that which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. Meaning he ain't gonna get to keep it. It said, according to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because why? Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away a house which he builded not. Right? So he took away a house that he ain't built. He's making all this money off trade in this country, and this not even his goddamn country. This not even his resting place. The Most High gave him Mount Seir. He's supposed to still have his ass in Mount Seir. But what? He came in, he enlarged of his desire as hell, as it says in Habakkuk, man. Habakkuk. Right? He can never have enough. Let me grab that next, man. I'm gonna keep going on this though. It says, there shall be none of his meat left. I mean, there shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods, man. All that is gonna run out. And it might damn well start with all these trade. I mean, with this strike on the trade embargoes, man. Because he's losing a lot of money for this. They don't want this. They don't want this to happen, right? They don't want this. They don't want this to go on too long because they losing money by the second, by the hour. It just said 2 point something billion a day. He losing that much as long as this go on, right? So like, yeah. I could keep going on this, but I'm gonna hop off of it. I'm gonna go to Habakkuk. I'm gonna go to Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. Typed it in wrong. Come on now. There we go. All right, 2nd chapter. Right, and let's go to verse 5. I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So the soul of the so-called white man, the way he is, the way he's built, it's not upright in him. He's a crooked spirit, man. He gonna always care about only himself. He even off his own self if he could get gain from it, right? Because he's the counterpart of Satan in this world, man. Right? These so-called white people, chiefly the rich elite, right? Because these low-level Edomites, they don't really know what's going on, but they still wicked as hell too, right? But it says, verse 5, yea, also because he transgressive by wine. What does that mean? His philosophies and his doctrine. That's the wine that he comes with, the cup that he gives you to make you drunken, so he exposes your nakedness, right? So he gets you all off your square, right? He comes with all these ideologies and philosophies to make you follow after him, and the whole time you only just getting drunken, right? It says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. He don't keep at home. Most High gave him Mount Seir in Genesis 36, the 36th chapter, right? But Esau, he wanted out of Mount Seir. He went and took over Greece, took over Rome. Then he moved all the way out into Western and Eastern Europe. Right now he's over here in the Americas, so he doesn't keep at home. It say who enlarge of his desire as hell, and he can never have enough, man. He enlarged his desire as hell, and hell is a condition. It's gonna constantly grow, right? It says, and is as death and cannot be satisfied, right? Death can't be satisfied. There's people that die every day, and death can't be satisfied. Death can't say, I'm full. Enough people died today. That's cool. Death ain't gonna say that. Neither the so-called white man. He's not gonna say, I'm full. I made enough money today. No, if he could get more, he's gonna get more. If he could squeeze a couple more pennies up out you, he go do that, man. Right? And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And that's crazy right there that it said, he cannot be satisfied, right? Because, like I just said, he's going to try to squeeze more and more as much as he can, while he can. And that just said that in this article, going back to the article, it says logistics executives told CNBC every remaining hour on Monday was critical and moving out as much trade as possible before a shutdown. So they knew the workers was finna go on strike. But they was like, hey, we go work their ass we go work them all the way up until they do it, man. We go push them double time, triple time. We go push them so we could get out as much as possible. Why? Because I need the money. Right? That's the greed of the so-called white man. He can't be satisfied, man. Right? Salakia, though. I got another article going into the same thing. This going back to the article though, it says on average it takes 1 week to clear out 1 day of a port closure, right? So it takes a whole week to clear out 1 day. So the work ain't gonna never end, because in 1 day they bringing in 53,000, cartons, and it takes a whole week to clear that out, right? And that's just for one port. It say as much as 43 to 49% of total containerized goods entering the U.S. are processed through ports on the East Coast and Gulf Coast, right? So almost half of the U.S. containerized goods is coming in through these East Coast ports. So, like they said, this is going to critically damage the economy of Babylon the Great, man, with this strike right here. And that's all the spirit of the Lord, man. That's all the spirit of the Lord. I got to get the Lord a hand, because we see it and we happy about this. We excited about this, because he's going to cause the downfall. He's causing the downfall of this wicked kingdom, man. Right? These workers, they going on strike. They going on strike. They tired. They tired of the wages that they getting, man. They want more money. Salakia. They want more money. They upset about that, right? This is going to CNN now, right? The article is titled "Time Running Out to Avoid Crippling U.S. Port Strike," right? So time they ran out, man. This was updated at 8:30 p.m. Right? That was what 8:30 p.m. What September 30th? That's today, right? That's right now. Yeah, that's right now, right? Even though it's 8:25, but they talking about Eastern time, I guess, right? But Salakia. It says New York CNN, time is running out to avoid a work stoppage at ports along the entire East and Gulf Coast in what could become the most disruptive strike to the U.S. economy in decades, right? It says members of the International Longshoremen's Association are set to go on strike at 12:01 a.m. Eastern time Tuesday, right? So that's tonight. They finna go on strike tonight, man. Right? It says at 36 facilities spread across 14 port authorities, right? Their there were few signs that a deal could be reached by the deadline set by the ILA and the United States Maritime Alliance, which uses the acronym USMX. But in a Monday evening statement, USMX said it requested an extension over the current contract and increased its offer, lifting wages to nearly 50% over the life of the contract, and said both sides moved off their previous positions. Right? The Maritime Alliance represents the major shipping lines, all of which are foreign owned, as well as terminal operators and port authorities. Right? It says the offer of a 50% wage increase by USMX was deemed unacceptable by the union earlier today. However, the union's demand on wages came down from their previous ask of a $5 an hour annual increase in pay, said a source familiar with the negotiations. Right, so they want an extra $5 an hour every year, man. Right, and that's how these unions be. They get critical with these unions. They get the conversations between the union and the company get real aggressive because the union is trying to look out for the people. The company trying to keep their greed, right? And so they go clash every time, man. Right? Especially when the people, the workers, are not feeling satisfied with all the work that they bringing in, and their wages are not, they're not correctly being compensated, for all the work that they doing. Right? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. It's like it. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. Right. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse. I'm gonna start at 1. It says, "Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble." Right? The keepers of the house, meaning what? These politicians, these tycoons, right? These businessmen, right, that all keep the company running, right? It says, "And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease." The grinders, who are the grinders? Those are the blue collar people, right? The working men, right? The people that are putting the pedal to the metal, the people that are out there working on those ports. Those are the grinders, right? It says they shall cease because they are few, right? And those that look out the windows be darkened. So the grinders is ceasing right now. Right, the grinders are ceasing. They saying, "Hey, we ain't finna work. We ain't finna work because why we few and we not getting paid as much as we should be getting paid." Right. It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low." Right, because if it ain't no work being done, ain't no trade being brought in. Right, these ports is becoming empty. Right, the store shelves is becoming empty. The warehouses is becoming empty. Right. Inflation is all the way up, right? So all the doors is going to be closed, right? People is going to start, ransacking these buildings, these businesses, running into these warehouses, stealing whatever they can. They're going to start looting and robbing like how they did during the George Floyd riots. All that is going to come past, man. That's going to start happening on a major level, right? If this strike really goes to, where we hope it would go. But it might come a time where they come to an agreement, or the Most High might just have them ride it out, and it really just bring about a famine in the land, right? Because that's the ultimate thing that's going to come with that, right? It says, "Sound of grinding is when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." Right? These Americans, they're gonna be brought low, man. Right? They the daughters of music, right? Salakia. Let's go to the book of let's go back to the article real quick. It's something I wanted to touch on. Then we go get some more, couple more precepts. Right. I didn't want this to be too long. Right. Right, here we go. I'm gonna read this part right here. It says the strike, which would be the first at these ports since 1977, could stop the flow of a wide variety of goods over the docks of almost all the cargo ports from Maine to Texas. This includes everything from bananas to European beer, wine, and liquor. And y'all know niggas, and these white people, especially these white people, they love their wine and liquor. They rich. They wine don't even come in a glass. They get the wine in a box, right? A box of wine, right? It says along with furniture, clothing, household goods, and European autos, right? It says as well as parts needed to keep U.S. factories operating and American workers in those plants on the job, right? So this might result in other people losing their job as well. People getting laid off at these plants and at these factories because the factory is not able to get the right equipment or to get the equipment in to replace some machine that may be down or to bring in the goods that they supposed to be working with or something like that. And this could lead to a lot of American workers getting laid off, man. Right, and which is going to cause an uproar of the people, like we read in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, right? Because if ain't nobody getting paid, these people is finna go fucking crazy, right? It says it also could stop U.S. exports now flowing through these ports, hurting sales for American company, man, right? And it's going to get crazy, man. It says depending on the length of the strike, there could be shortages of customer and industrial goods, right? Which could then lead to price hikes. What? Inflation, right? It could lead to a shortage of consumer goods, man. Right? So the prices for napkins at Walmart is gonna go from $2.67 to damn $20 for a damn pack of napkins. It could raise up just that much, man, over 500%. It says it will mark a setback to the economy. And this economy is already in a slump. We already trillions of dollars in debt, man. America is. So where does this go put us? Salakia. It says, which has shown signs of recovery from pandemic-induced supply chain disruptions that resulted in a spike in inflation, right? Because the pandemic already spiked and caused inflation, right? But this right here, these ports, this could cause inflation as well, probably even more than the pandemic. It said while the union says there are about 50,000 members covered by the contract, it says the USMX puts the number of port jobs closer to 25,000 with not enough jobs for all the workers in the union to work every day, right? So a lot of them finna get laid off, man, right? A lot of them finna get laid off. Let me see. I want to go down to one of these parts. Right, so they just basically talk about all the types of goods that come in through there. It's another part I wanted to touch on. All the companies, right? I'm probably passed it up. It's probably up here somewhere. Right, they were showing all the companies that are affected by this. Where is it at? Slovakia. They had a list of all the companies. It might be in the other article. Let me see, man. Was it on this one? Yeah, here you go. All right. So back to the CNBC, right? It says top U.S. importing companies exposed to the impending port strike, right? Number one, you got Walmart, right? You got Walmart, IKEA, right? Samsung, Bob's Furniture, LG, Home Depot, Continental Tire, right? Hyundai, Dollar General, General Motors, Amazon, Folgers, Raymond's Furniture Co., Goodyear Tires, Michelin, Heineken, and Pepsi, man. Right? You got all these companies that's finna be affected, man. And these are major, big name, world-renowned companies, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, right? Because this just shows like the Most High said all this was gonna happen, and you got to have a spiritual eye and spiritual ears to understand that he was talking about America in this, even though he's talking about Tyre and Zidon, right? Back in the ancient world, Tyre and Zidon was a major trade port because while of all the oceans that they were surrounded by, there was a major trade port with bringing goods in, which made Tyre an illustrious and beautiful country, man. Right? Same way America is right now. They carry the same spirit. You know, America has all this trade embargo, which makes them illustrious and a beautiful country, right? Which makes them a rich country. It's rich over here because of all the trade that's going on with all the other nations, right? We're bringing in all this money, and we're bringing in all these goods, and we getting all this money over here, man, right? And by we, I'm talking about America, right? This is Ezekiel 27:1. It says, the word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, now thou son of man, take up a lamentation for Tyrus, and say unto Tyrus, oh, that thou art situate at the entry of the sea. So Tyrus was situate. Man, they were situated, man. They was good. They had a good spot at the entry of the sea, right? Because why? These cargo ships is how you bring in, all the merchandise, man. Right? And America, that's what these ports are. These ports, they receive the goods off these cargo ships, being transported off the sea, through the sea, man. It says, which are a merchant of the people for many isles, meaning many countries, man. Isles and islands and all of that. Same way America is right now. So through the spirit, this is talking about America, Babylon the Great. It said America is a merchant, right? For many isles, right? They bring in like we just read all of these companies, Walmart, IKEA, Samsung. A lot of these are foreign companies. Samsung, I believe that's a Japanese company. IKEA, that's a European company, right? Hyundai, another Japanese company, right? All of these, man, right? Most of them are foreign companies, but what are they? Even if they're not foreign, right? They still getting a lot of their goods from China, right? Taiwan, Indonesia, right? Japan, right? A lot of them, they making a lot of metals in Europe and in Africa and all of that, man, right? With General Motors, right? So, this place is a merchant for many isles, man, right? It says, thus saith the Lord God, O Tyrus, thou hast said, I am of perfect beauty. And that's what America says. This is the land of the free and home of the brave. This is the greatest country. They say, God bless America. That's what they say. They say they of perfect beauty. They say America is of perfect beauty, man. Right? They say, oh, beautiful, well, spacious sky. That's America. Right? This is through the spirit. This is talking about America. If you can't see it, then you need to fast or something. Because this is easy, man. Right? It says, thy borders are in the midst of the seas. Thy builders have perfected thy beauty, man. Right? It says, they have made all thy shipboards of fir trees of Sinir. Right? They have taken cedars from Lebanon to make masts for thee. Right? Let's talk about all these cargo ships, man. Right? They got these big ass cargo ships. And the first thing when you watch that movie, Leave the World Behind, right? The first thing that happened, what they do, they cut off the trade. And how did they show they cut off the trade? They had that cargo ship, it went rogue and it just crashed on the beach. A big ass cargo ship, right? Big ass sea liner. It just crashed on the beach. Meaning what? That means they cut off the trade. The trade was cut off. This is how that movie started. The Wi-Fi went crazy, and then they cut off the trade. Right now, the trade is being cut off with this little strike right here. Right? And now all the country got to do is come and besiege America. And it's over with. Russia and China and Iran, they already doing, what is that? Marine exercises, naval exercises, in the water with they warships. They already doing that. All they got to do is come execute now. Boom, cut off the East Coast. Then boom, it's easy to cut off the West Coast right there. From that point on, it's over with. Right? It says, I'm gonna jump down to verse 7. It says, fine linen with broidered work from Egypt was that which thou broughtest forth to be thy sail. Blue and purple from the Isles of Elisha was that which covered thee. Right? So let's talk about, the sails and, how illustrious the ships was and all that. Right? Verse 8, the inhabitants of Zidon and Arvad were thy mariners. right? Thy wise men, O Tyrus, that were in thee were thy pilots, right? So the wise men, these rich elites, man, they the pilots. They the ones that's controlling the show. You got the wise men, the mariners, they the ones driving the ship, right? That's what's going on, right? It says the ancients of Jabal and the wise men thereof were in thee thy caulkers, right? And all it's like all the ships of the sea with their mariners were in thee to occupy thy merchandise. So all these ships is coming in for trade, man, right? To occupy the merchandise of America, to bring in merchandise from other places, right? That's what same thing that Tyre and Zidon was doing. And the Lord had them get destroyed, man. It says, they of Persia and of Lud and of Foot were in thy army, thy men of war, they hanged the shield and helmet in thee, they set forth thy comeliness, right? I'm going to jump down to verse 12. Tarshish was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of all kind of riches, with silver, iron, tin, and lead, they traded in thy fairs, right? So you got all these other countries they bringing in. You got Jordans, even Jordans. They come from Indonesia and the Philippines and China and all that. You got these TVs like Samsung and all that. Walmart and all they shit coming in, coffee makers and Folgers coffee and all of that. All these goods, all this food is coming in from all these places, man. Right, with trade. And all that is getting cut off on the eastern coast of Babylon the Great because these workers going on strike, man. Right? I'm going to jump down to verse. I'm going to jump down to verse. I think I want 30, 38. Is it 38? Right. I'm going to jump up to verse 25. It says, the ships of Tarshish did sing of thee in thy market, and thou was replenished and made very glorious in the midst of the seas. The rowers have brought thee into great waters. The east wind have broken thee in the midst of the seas. Thy riches and thy fares, thy merchandise, thy mariners and thy pilots, thy caulkers and the occupiers of thy merchandise, and all thy men of war that are in thee, and in all thy company which is in the midst of thee, shall fall into the midst of the seas in the day of thy ruin. Right. So all this trade is go fail in the day of Babylon's ruin, man. Right. It says the suburbs shall shake at the sound of the cry of thy pilots. Right. It say the suburbs shall shake, the cities, man. They go shake. Because why? They getting affected too by this. Right. These inner cities because if ain't nothing coming in, them people in there in them suburbs is not getting fed, man. It says, all that handle the oar, the mariners, and all the pilots of the sea shall come down from their ships. They shall stand upon the land, and shall cause their voice to be heard against thee, and shall cry bitterly, and shall cast up dust upon their heads. They shall wallow themselves in the ashes, right? They gonna be all the rich people, all the rich men, these Donald Trumps, these Bill Gateses, right? These Mark Zuckerbergs, these Elon Musk, and what's the dude that got the damn Amazon? Salakia, I forget his damn name. But you know, the Amazon owner, right? You know, all them, they go cry, man. They go cry. They gonna be watching afar off when this place really get destroyed, because they ain't gonna be able to make no money no more. They gonna be watching afar off in their underground bunker or wherever the hell they at, watching bitterly, wailing, crying, because they can't make no money here no more. Their kingdom is going down. Right. And that's the ultimate judgment, when the ultimate judgment comes upon this place. Right now, the Lord just scratching the surface with this little strike or whatever. Right. But when it really happened, when it really go down, these people go cry. It says, and in their wailing they shall take up a lamentation for thee and lament over thee, saying, what city is like Tyrus, like the destroyed in the midst of the sea. They gonna be crying. It ain't gonna never be another America. The place was so beautiful. We was getting so much money there. I was just finna lock in another trade deal with Apple, and then woo with Amazon, woo. I was just finna do this. I was just finna sign another check for a $40 million pension. They finna be talking about that because they know they never had them opportunities again. You going into slavery. That's your next opportunity, to work under the Israelites in forever bondage and servitude. It says, when thy wares went forth out of the seas, thou fillest many people. Thou didst enrich the kings of the earth. Right? So when the wares, meaning what? The victuals, right? The merchandise, when that went forth out of the seas and when it came in, many people was getting fed. Many people was getting rich. A lot of people, they got vendors that's over in these foreign countries. Like a lot of these small business owners, they depended on those things to come in off those ships. Even these small business owners, right? These people that got the LLCs and all that, right? They getting rich off of this too. It ain't just the big man. You got middlemen getting rich too. But all that is finna come to a halt. It says, thou didst enrich the kings of the earth with the multitude of thy riches and of thy merchandise. And the time when thou shalt be broken by the seas in the depth of the waters, Salakia, thy merchandise and all thy company in the midst of thee shall fall. Right? All the inhabitants of the isle shall be astonished at thee, and their king shall be sore afraid. They shall be troubled in their countenance, right? It says, the merchants among the people shall hiss at thee. Thou shalt be a terror and never shall be any more. Right, let's go to Revelation 18 to tie the knot between that, to show that it's also talking about Babylon the Great. Revelation 18th chapter. It's like, yeah, where I'm at. Okay. Right, Revelation the 18th chapter. Right. Right, I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, for all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth, meaning what, all these prime ministers, right? These Kim Jong-uns and these politicians and high level ranking Rothschilds and all of them, they all committed fornication with America. They all came over here and got some money or did some type of deal with somebody in America and got richer, right? It says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, right? So all the merchants, they then got rich through the abundance of the opportunities in America, right? It says, I'm gonna jump down to verse 8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, right? That famine is gonna come, right? And this strike at the ports can cause, a famine if it goes on too long, right? And if it reaches to the western coast of the ports, man, those western ports as well, right? It could cause a major famine in this land, right? And weaken the whole nation. It says, and shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her, right? And the kings of the earth, verse 9, this is what I wanted. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So the kings of the earth, all these rich elites, they're going to be crying, like we just read in Ezekiel, right? This is how you know that Ezekiel, when it's talking about Tyre, that is actually spiritually talking about America as well, right? Because why? Babylon the Great is America, right? And we see the correlation between Revelation 18 and Ezekiel 27, right? It says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, right? And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Ain't nobody buying your shit no more. It's gone, right? The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and thine wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and brass and iron and marble. All these goods, man, no matter what it is, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots, right? Cars, food, right? When it's talking about the beasts and the horses, right? Transportation, all these things, man, and slaves and souls of men, right? America is getting rich off souls of men. Who's those souls of men? Those talk about the Israelites, man. They didn't got rich off of us. You got a lot of these people, these rich elites. How did they get their riches off slavery, man? And they still eating good off of that. And what all they did was trade slavery for another way of getting money. And now they didn't kept their riches going. Right? But it all go back to what? Them selling souls of men, and they ain't gonna never be able to do that again. It says, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. Right? Thy merchants, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, right? And saying, alas, alas, that great city. Right? They're gonna be like, damn, America is gone. That was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? Right? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein we were made rich, all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. Salakia. It says, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. Right? So all that's gonna happen, man. Right? All that's gonna happen. And we seeing a little taste of it right now with this little strike, man. We seeing a little taste of it, right? These little this little strike, man. You see these seaports, man, all that's go dwindle. All that right there, that's go dwindle. It's go from damn this many to half of that to a quarter of that to none of that, right? It's gonna be empty. You ain't gonna see none of that. It's all them trailers gonna be empty, man. Right? Salakia. I'm gonna grab one more. I'm gonna close up, man. Grab one more and I'm gonna close up because I ain't intend for this to be too long. Through the Spirit. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter. 6 and 22. I could go into more, but I ain't trying to tie this lesson out too long. Right? This 2nd Esdras 6, and I'm going to start at 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Meaning right now, everything is sown. Everything is, so-called in order. Everything is working, like clockwork. But soon it's going to be all confusion. It's going to look unsown, right? It says the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, right? So these full storehouses, these starting with these ports, then the warehouses, then the actual stores, right? They're going to be all found empty, man. There's going to be a lot of looting and rioting going on. Right, people are going to be stealing and looting and kicking in doors and breaking windows, and even when those stores is empty, people gonna start stealing from each other households, man. All of that is prophecy. I'm gonna keep going a little bit. All of that is prophecy, man. Let's go to the 15th chapter. Right, 2nd Esdras 15. Right. This probably be my last one. Right. This 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 5. It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Right. So that famine is coming, man. Right. And inflation can lead to a famine. Right. These ports being closed down can lead to a famine. Right. Loss of trade, a nation being besieged, right, can lead to a famine, man. Right. So let's jump down to verse 16. Right. I'm going to start at 14. It says, woe to the world, right, and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Let's talk about World War III, right? Also, what's going to be going on? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, right? Sedition. What is sedition? Right? Sedition is people, not. Let's get the definition. I don't want to misquote it, right? Let's get the definition. All right. Okay, whatever. Right, the definition of sedition. It says the crime of creating a revolt, disturbance, or violence against lawful civil authority with the intent to cause its overthrow or destruction. So, like what happened in the nation's capital, with the people that when they stormed the Capitol, that was sedition right there, right? But this sedition that the Lord is talking about is going to be on a major mainstream level. It's going to be everywhere in the country. It ain't just going to be in one spot. It's going to be everywhere, right? It says, for there shall be sedition among men. You know what? People going to be trying to overthrow the government. They're going to be upset with these politicians, upset with these rich men that are eating, living good in their houses while they in the ghettos and in the hood starving. Right, the blue collar man that always had to work for a living, he's going to be mad because he can't feed his family, and he know that the rich people, his boss, right, who he was working for 15 years, is still at his house eating good, right? So what he's going to do? He's going to take that shotgun that he got and he go to his boss crib and he go pay him a visit. He go pay his boss a visit and he go, hey, I worked for you. I put in 15 years of my life for you. He gonna knock on the door and say, I put in 15 years of my life for you. And now I can't feed my family. But you in here eating good. So I'm gonna need you to come up off some of that. Plainly saying. And the boss gonna be like, well, I can't do nothing for you. You should have been saving your money. Whoa. Your 401k plan. What happened to that? Whoa. And he gonna say, hey, listen, I ain't got time for that. Then he go point the gun at him. Say, I'm gonna ask you one more time. I need that. And now he gonna have to either, fight that man off or get his head blown off, or either give what that man asking for. Right? That's gonna be happening. It says, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in power. So the government ain't gonna be having no say so over these people. These people ain't finna give a damn what the hell the Pope, these politicians, the president, the damn governor, the mayor, they ain't finna give a damn what the hell they got to say. The chief of police, they ain't finna give a damn. Right? They finna be out there doing whatever they want to do. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? You ain't gonna be able to travel freely like how you want to. Right? The mark of the beast is more than likely gonna be out at that time. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. So, hey, going back to that, your neighbor that you was once had a good relationship with, y'all invite each other to each family barbecue, children's birthday parties, y'all there all together taking a picture, posing for the picture. Now y'all enemies because he eating and you not, or you eating and he not. And his family's over there starving, and he know that you got a loaf of bread over there in access, right? So what? He's going to come and try to get that off of you. It says, because of the lack of bread, meaning food, and for great tribulation, right? So all of this is coming to America in a fast way, man. This is coming, man, in a heavy way, right? So what you got to do? This is what you got to do. Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, woman, and child. This is what y'all got to do, man. Right? I'm going to grab two more. Right? First, I'm going to grab Ecclesiastes. Three more, matter of fact. Ecclesiastes 8, right? This is Ecclesiastes 8 and verse 5. It says, whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing, And the wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. So if you're keeping God's commandments, you're not going to feel no evil, man. You ain't going to feel no evil, right? If you continue to keep the Lord's commandments, right? Now I'm going to grab Job. Job 5 and I think I'm on 19. Right, this is Job 5 and 19. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Right? It says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death. So you're going through a famine. You traveling house to house. You a pilgrim on the earth. Like I said, you go be in 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter. You're a pilgrim on the earth, moving from house to house, city to city, walking with your tent and your backpack and your fire starter and probably a machete or your gun or whatever with your family. Y'all wandering from place to place, trying to keep them safe. Y'all trying to find food anywhere y'all can. That's gonna be happening, and it's gonna be a famine. Ain't gonna be no food. Y'all gonna be on the verge of dying, and what? The Lord gonna deliver you from that. He gonna have you stumble upon something. You might find a hostess truck filled with Twinkies or something. You might find, you might find anything. And the Lord might just lead you to that. It says there, it says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. Right? At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, because while you know you, the Lord got your back. It said, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Right? So I'm gonna grab this last one. Let's go to Isaiah 65 and 13. I think that's what I want. Isaiah 65 and 13, right? It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Right? So the Lord, he said his servants, meaning what? Those of us that are keeping, those of them, because I don't want to make myself part of the number. Those of his servants that are keeping the commandments, right? And that are keeping faith in Yahweh Shah, they're not going to be hungry in those days. They're not going to be thirsty. They're not going to have a want for those things, man. The Lord is going to make sure that they straight. Hey, the Lord fed Elijah by ravens during the famine in the book of 1 Kings, the 18th chapter, right? The Lord made sure that Elijah and that woman and her child didn't run out of what was it? The cake, right? They didn't run out of flour for the cakes, man, to make cakes. He made sure that the flour didn't dwindle at all, no matter how many cakes the lady made every day, right? So the Lord can take care of us in these situations. We just got to stay faithful as his servants, man. But those of them that choose not to be the Lord's servant, those of them that feel like they too cool for the Bible, too cool to serve God, too cool for all of that right now, hey, they gonna be thirsty. They gonna be hungry. They gonna be ashamed. So with that, I'm gonna give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? That's Yahweh, who the word only calls God, in the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai, who the word only calls Jesus Christ, right? It's Kazak Magun of the angels of Yahweh, Lord willing, you was edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Hey, keep the commandments and keep the faith. Shalom.